So tonight's film was a film I'd been meaning to watch since A Year with Women, but I wasn't unable to find it in 2015. So I finally got to see it thanks to Filmstruck. Although it is expiring soon, so you should. Obviously, I wait until the last minute to watch all of these movies on Filmstruck. So you should watch it sooner rather than later if you have Filmstruck. This is Marleen Gorris's Antonia. I want to say Antonia. It's Antonia's line. They say it with an accent, and it sounds differently. I think it's the emphasis is on tone. So Antonia's line, or Antonia in was its original title. I'm not really sure why they had to add line to it in America, but whatever. It won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 1995, and it took many years to get made. It's one of those stories where you read about it, and she was trying to make this film for almost 10 years. Partly because funding, no one wants to fund a film that's all about women creating a society for themselves, and maybe men can come along. It's a great, great film. It starts on the last day of Antonia's life. She's decided she's done. She's old. She has a great-grandchild. She's done. But before then, you hear the story of her life, and so it flashes back to her coming back to her hometown right after World War II. Her mother is about to die. Antonia and her daughter have come to say goodbye, and then they stay in the village, and so you find all the different village people. Villagers sounds a lot better than village people in this context. And then the rest of the film is tracing their establishing their life there, her daughter coming of age, her daughter having a child, and her daughter's daughter having a daughter. So she gets down to the fourth generation. Hence the line, I guess, if they had to point that out. What I found fascinating, especially in reading some of the contemporary reviews of the film, is that women were like, it's great! And they were really praising it, and most men also thought it was great. But there were a handful of men that found it, man-hating, and I find it very fascinating. If you read films by women from the 80s, read about films by women from the 80s and 90s from very feminist perspectives, a lot of men will, and sometimes women, but a lot of men will use that phrase man-hating or whatever in a context that is not there, but because of the atmosphere at the time, they felt that it was man-hating. There are men in this film that are horrible, and the woman, at one point, they basically, none of the women want the men that are in their lives, and none of them want marriage. None of them want the traditional idea of what men should be. But only one of them out and out rejects men altogether, and that's because she's a lesbian. So let her be a lesbian. Slight spoiler alert there. But I read one review where he basically said she's horrible and rejects this guy, breaks his heart, and how mean that is. But she basically straight up says why she doesn't need him as a husband, under the idea of what a husband means in late 40s, right? But later decides, but basically says, hey, we can help each other and be friends, that's fine. And then later is like, hey, I actually kind of like you, let's have sex. And that's their relationship. And it shows how bringing that family, and this man had boys, how bringing that family in was sort of helpful, and how not all men are terrible, but some men are. And they go to the extreme with the terribleness of the men, because it's the sort of terrible things that don't often make it into film, or don't often make it into film this way, because it's men showing. I find there's a difference between men showing male violence towards women and when women show male violence towards women. I feel like women are much more unflinching and much more honest, and much more like, this is what this is like, because they're the ones that experience that male violence towards women. And they're not afraid to paint men as how awful they really can be. And then you have, Fragile Male Egos crying about man haters, and it's like, I'm not hating all men, just men who act like this. You don't act like that, you're fine. So don't act like that. It also shows sort of how women who are intelligent and independent in nature struggle to find a place in a society that doesn't necessarily foster a place for them, but at the same time doesn't reject women who also feel that their purpose is to be mothers. There's a great character who her entire life's purpose is having children, and she loves it. And so you get a great great look at many aspects of life in this film. And no one version is really like said this is the word, this is not how it should be, except basically traditional marriage and if you rape people, you get stabbed in the groin. It's a great scene. So I'm going all over the place with this. I don't even know. I should get my thoughts together better. I just thought this was a beautiful film. It is about independence, and it's about love, and it's about a lust for life, and it's about the pursuit of knowledge, and it's about artistic needs, and it's about the struggle, and how no matter what way you decide to live your life, you're gonna be miserable, but at the same time you're gonna be incredibly happy because you get both. And life is about dealing with the miserable and realizing when you're happy, and that's sort of what this film is trying to show. And I think it's just really well made. Much better Marleen Gorris film than the other one I saw, which is called Caroline, stars Julia Stiles. It's not a good film. This, on the other hand, is a great film. Right now you can watch it on Filmstruck. It's released by Film Movement on DVD, and I think it's well worth your time.